All right, so I'm going to take you through another example for this roulette project. The list of things to do, I guess, would be to develop your strategy, two different betting strategies. I went over one in class, but I'll do another one now. For wagering $10 on a single spin of the wheel, you can't wager all $10 credits on a single outcome. So you can't just do like $10 on black. It has to be mixed and matched in some way. But I leave that up to you as long as so that requirement. Sorry, I lost the word there for a second. Is to make sure that you're not betting all of the $10 on the same outcome. All right. So however you want to do it is fine. So once you come up with that, you need a table listing all the different ways that you could win and lose. Depending on your strategies, a Venn diagram that visualizes each strategy, the expected value per $10 wagered, right? So that's per $10. I now just realized that in my example, the one I did in class, it was per $10. So I would not have needed to divide by the 10 there. So it would be 0.53 roughly. Dollar sign first. So negative 53 cents per $10 bet. All right. Yeah. Then once you do that, you play the game with a $100 budget. And this could be a little on the time consuming side. The applet that I found for Roulette, kind of, I don't want to say it goes slow, but it's an emulator for the actual wheel. So it kind of takes, I'll say, roughly the same amount of time that an actual wheel would take. It actually goes quicker. If you go to a casino, you'll see it. It kind of, the suspense builds. Let's put it that way when you play the game. So yeah, you could use a simulator. If you find another one, that's fine. You just need to have random outcomes, right? And like realistically, there's no way I can prove that you used an emulator. I mean, technically, you can make up numbers, but if you want to get something out of this process, you're probably going to want to do it the right way. So you're either going to play the game. So with the $10 wagered, repeat until you either go bust or have spun the wheel 10 times, whichever comes first. All right. So we repeat the process 3 times. You'll also need the following. All right. A list of outcomes for each set of 10 trials. So at most, you'll spin the wheel 30 times. When I did it in class, I just kept spinning just so I can. It was more curiosity over the strategy that was selected, but also just to kind of see how long it would take to play the game. If you were to even do 10 spins, right? But that's probably, I'll call it the tedious part, where it's like spin, result, how much do you have now? Spin, result, how much money do you have now? But yeah, you're going to tabulate all that, and then see how much money you have left after each set of 10 spins. And then the last part is a report that, and again, it doesn't have to be a full-blown essay, but you should have a convincing argument over why you would select one of the strategies over the other. And it has to reference the calculations in a meaningful way. So I can do 1 and 2 for you, really, like using my example, you'll get an idea. But 3, you're kind of on your own for. You need to be able to look at the numbers and say, okay, well, what does this mean? Sorry, I'm doing this in my classroom, and the bell just went off, so that's what that noise was. I figured I'd explain it rather than having to edit it out later on. So I have my board. I'm going to develop a strategy. So, and you can formulate this, or I should say format this any way you want. Like if you want to do it in a Google Doc, or if you want to do it handwritten, you want to do a Word file, whatever you want. Organizational strategy is up to you, but it does need to be neat enough that I can follow what you're doing. All right. So it doesn't have to be a picture perfect report like you're working in a Fortune 500 company and you're trying to write something that the the board of directors would be impressed by. I mean, that would be great, but it's not even remotely required, right? So I would start off with my strategy, all right? So, oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong thing. These are my possibilities. I could bet on one number only, straight up bet, pays 35 to 1. I could do, for example, a 6-number bet, which pays 5 to 1. The outside dozen or column that pays 2 to 1, or bet on outside or even credit bets, even dollar bets, which would be paying out at 1 to 1. So that would be the case where if I wanted to bet on, let's say, red. So if I put my chip on red, and let's say that chip is a $5 chip, what would happen is if I win, if a red number comes up, then I get $5. I get the $5 that I wagered also, so I walk away with 10, but only $5 are new. All right, so I didn't lose $5, but but it's not like I won $10. You know, I only won $5 additional dollars. All right, so that's a quick example of that. All right, they do have table minimums. If you go to a casino, it might say something like minimum wager inside versus outside. If you do those even number bets or the 2 to 1 bets, they usually have a minimum wager that you have to use for that, and then a separate minimum wager for on the board going from 1 to 36. So I'm not really going to adhere to that, because that would make things even more complicated, and this is complicated enough. So I'm going to come up with a strategy. I'll do a 6-number bet. I mentioned that before, so I'll put my chip here. And I'll do, again, it's really, you're at liberty. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to do a $7. Oh, that looked funky. $7 bet on this 6-number set here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm going to just kind of trace it out. So that would be any of these numbers coming up. If I win, and again, you can reference this, but that's going to be a 6-number bet pays out at 5 to 1, right? So I'll keep that in mind. And then maybe I'll hedge it a little bit. So I'll put the other $3 on this 2 to 1. That gets me to 10. So now what that's saying is any number that comes up in this set of values would be a winner, right? And again, hard to see. Maybe I don't think a highlighter is going to show up any better. Yeah. So it just will. I'm going to list out all the outcomes in a second anyway, so we won't really need the board beyond that. But $7 at 5 to 1, and $3 at 2 to 1. All right. So that $7 is going on a 6-number bet. And the $3 is going on a column bet. You don't have to write that. It's just if I want to come up with variables to represent what I'm doing, I have a better chance of kind of going that way. All right. Now, I do have some overlap. All right. So my possibilities would be, and I'll start making my table here. So outcomes. My possibilities are that I win the 6-number bet only. I win the column only. I could win the column and the 6-number bet. That would be like the grand prize, right? I think that covers everything, right? So the other alternative would be that I lose the bet, all right? So none of my outcomes, none of my desired outcomes come through, All right. I'm going to create a Venn diagram from this. If you want to label it Venn diagram, that's fine. I think it'll be pretty obvious when you have a Venn diagram included in here that I will know what that means. So you don't have to tell me that it's a Venn diagram. And again, neatness is important, right? So this is a project. It's not just the quick worksheet. So, maybe a rough draft, kind of clean it up. I have this app that makes everything nice on the first try. So, fortunate here. If you want to try to do it that way, that's fine. I use the GoodNotes app, whether you want to use that or OneNote or whatever you're comfortable with. But again, like I said, I'm not forcing it one way or the other. As long as I can make out what you're doing and it's neat enough, we're good. All right. So I have a 6-number bet only. I'll write the word 6. The column bet only. And then this in the interior here, it's the 6-number bet. All right. So I'll call it 6-number and the column bet. So I'll just kind of abbreviate that and make it a little easier to make out. All right. But I also want to know what numbers fall into each category. So for the 6-number bet, it would be, so only the 6-number bet. So no overlap here. This is my overlap. Red was a poor choice there. But let's see, I'll use blue here. This number here, this one, and this one constitute winning the 6-number bet, but not also winning the column bet. So that would be 25, 27, 28, and 30. You can write it in the circle. If you write it big enough, you probably fit, you can fit a lot of stuff in there. It's up to you. I'm just doing it this way, but you can do it either way. 26 and 29 would be the case of both. 26, 29. Obviously, if you have like 10 outcomes, to try to tuck it all in might be challenging, but I have this infinite space that I can work with, and so it ends up being easier. But make it big if you want to do it this way. So 2, 5, 8. All right, they're multiples of 3 as you go down each column. Now, I know some of you might be looking at this and saying 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, all that. How is that a column? It's oriented sideways. I printed the roulette board sideways. So normally it would look with the 0 and 00 on the top and the 2 to 1s on the bottom. So they are columns. It's just to fit it nicely, I tend to put it sideways. Maybe not something you cared about, but just for anybody who's concerned. I don't want you to think that everything you thought you knew about rows and columns was wrong, or everything I thought I knew. So these are all my outcomes, all my possible outcomes. Everything else, now that would be a lot to list. Everything else would be a loss, but that's not something I'm really worried about, because if I lost $10. I don't really have to worry about how much money I would have lost in the event that I lost, because that would be everything, right? But if I win, so I'm going to do some calculations off on the side here. I'm going to just steal this. If I win the 6 bet only, it implies that I lost the column bet. And the calculations are probably the trickiest part. All right. So if I win the $6 bet, 6-number bet, all right, at 5 to 1, I get my $7. I multiply by 5 because that's a 5 to 1 wager. All right. So that's this corresponding to this. If $1 gets you $5, that's what a 5 to 1 bet would represent. Then $5 would get you $35. I'm sorry, $7 would get you $35. Oh, Lordy. But if I lost the column bet, I have to subtract off whatever I wagered for that. So winning the 6-number bet only gets me $32. All right, so dollars 32. I'm just gonna, for consistency and formatting, I'm just gonna move it over a little bit. All right. And again, computing expected value is for the purpose of really just making sure that your strategy is valid. All right, I'm just gonna take all this over here, column bet only. That's the same. If it's only the column bet, that means I lost the 6 number bet. Lost or lose. All right, so my column bet was $3 wager at 2 to 1. So times 2 is going to give me $6. All right, so that 2 is coming from this one in that 2 to 1. $1 wager gets you $2. All right, so a $3 wager would get you $6. It's 2 to 1 ratio. All right, but I lost the 6 number bet, and that was a wager of $7. So now I'm actually short. I'll do the negative symbol first. Negative $1. All right, so it's still kind of, even though it's a win, it's still a loss. But that's what I meant before when I said hedging. Like, the loss isn't as substantial as it would have been otherwise. All right, so as long as something in that corner comes up, I'm not taking a big hit in terms of how much money I lose. All right, now this is the one that we want. I guess I don't need this. So $7 bet at 5 to 1 plus a $3 bet at 2 to 1, 2 to 1. So just times 2 is going to be 35 plus 6, which is going to be $41. Sorry. So that's a good outcome. So 2 ways to get a good outcome, 2 ways to get a bad outcome, but one is really bad and the other is just kind of bad. All right. So that would be the dollar amount. Now the probability. So winning the 6 number bet only, there's 4 ways that could happen out of 38. Winning just a column bet, that's all of this stuff over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 38. Column and 6 number bet, those are the 2 outcomes, 26 and 29. So 2 out of 38. Now that amounts to 16 possible ways to win. All right. And if you count them up on the board, you have everything. So starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, so 16 possible ways to win, which means that there are 12 ways that we can, actually more than 12, 22 ways that we can lose. If there were 12 ways to lose, that would be incredible. All right, so the 16 plus the 22 gets you 38. So now we're going to multiply dollars times probability. So that's going to be 64, 128 over 38, negative 10 over 38, 81 over 38, 82 over 38, and then negative 220 over 38. All right, so if I add the positives together, I get, looks like 210, all right? 210 out of 38 minus 10 is going to be 200 out of 38 minus 220 out of 38 will be negative 20 over 38 when we add all these together. You don't need this little arc here, which is about, you don't have to do the squiggly equal if you don't want, but that means about or approximately negative 53 cents per every $10 bet. All right. So I have a viable strategy because no matter what my approach is, the expected value in the game of roulette, no matter how I distribute my money, whatever amount of money I want to put down, those ratios guarantee that the expected value is never in your favor to the tune of minus 53 cents for every $10 wagered. So if I bet $100, then I could expect on average to lose 53 and so on. It uses this as a scalar multiplier, right? So that's the calculation part of it. Now it's the trial part of it, all right? So like I said, in class I kind of went overboard, but we need 10 trials, and then we're going to repeat that process 3 times. So trial, outcome, the amount won or lost, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'm just going to copy this over for good measure because I need to do 3 go-rounds on this. And again, it could take some time. So what I'll do is I'll do this behind the scenes. I'll show you again how you do it on the site. The link is in the assignment. But you go to the site, spin the wheel, and again, it takes some time. So just kind of bear with it. 31. I'll do like 2 or 3. And I'll pause the video. $14, and so on. You see, it's fairly lengthy. So it's the kind of thing that you're probably doing behind the scenes, but it's up to you, and so on. All right, so I ran through the simulation 10 times. So here are the outcomes that I came up with. Now I'm going to do my numerical analysis. And again, you're going to repeat this process 3 times. So I got a 31. So I can look at my board however I want to do it. 31's a loser. So that's a minus 10. 14's a winner, but it's column only. So column bet only is a minus 1. That's a mini loser. 2, same deal. Mini loser. Next up, I think, was a 4. 4 is a complete loser. 18, complete loser. So far, it's not looking like the greatest strategy in the short term. I'm down $32 at this point. Next up, 26. 26 is the big winner. So that's 41. Spoke too soon, I guess. 21, complete loser. 36 and 0, complete losers. So this is one of those cases where I would probably stop right here because I was down 32 and then I won 41, so now I'm up. If I want to play one more time for good measure, just a little heat check, I could do that, but I would probably stop here and say, well, I got 6 spins out of it. I had my fun, so off we go. All right, so let me do the math here. We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. All right, so we have the 41 minus, well, actually, I could just do it all in one shot, I guess. So 41, then minus 2 more is going to be 43. All right, so that's 40. Oh, I'm sorry. Brain cramp. 41 is the winnings. That was the only instance where I won. Everything else is a loss. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 72. So minus 72. And we're looking at, I'm short $31 at the end of the day. All right. So total would be negative $31. All right. So I could do the same thing for my second and third trial. I'll do that same way I did before. I'll come up with the outcomes, and then I'll run through it again. But remember, this is just one strategy. You have to do it for a second strategy on top of it, and then write your report. All right. So back to my my simulator. I want to refresh it because I want to be able to kind of just see it from a blank slate. So same idea, spin the wheel, get a couple outcomes and so on. So here I got a 19, and then I'll do the rest and then bring it back. I'll do both sets and then bring it back. All right, so I did the trials, and now we're just going to run through and list all the possible wins and losses that might have happened. So our magic numbers, again, are listed here, but we could just look at if you do a fairly decent diagram, you can pick it up out of that. So 19 is a loss, so -10. 27 is a win on the 6-bet only, which is 32. I think that's the first time we got one of those. A 1 is a loss, so -10. A 33 is a loss, -10. 25 is in the set. That's a 6-bet only, so that's a 32. 26 is the best possible outcome, that's 41. 17 is a column bet only, so that's a small loss. 36 is a big loss. Not big, but still. 29 is a grand prize, a 41. And a 20 is a small loss, column bet only. All right, so we get our total here. So the second go around, it looks like it's a little bit more favorable. All right, so we can involve a calculator here just to get things moving. The other ones were kind of nice and numerically, so this is a little bit different. You could still kind of streamline it a little bit if you want, but I'll just pop it all in there. 32 -10. Use whatever calculator you want. 32, 41, -1, -10, plus 41 -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 values. Here's hoping. So I'm ahead $104 here. All right, so far it's kind of like, I don't know, it could be a terrible strategy or it could be an okay strategy. So let's let the third one be our tiebreaker. A 5 is a small loss. 36, regular loss. Actually, there's a few of those 36s. And it was kind of strange. On my last go-round, it wasn't until the 10th trial that I actually got a black. So that was kind of interesting. That could happen. They're independent events, so, you know. 7 is also a loss. 16 is also a loss. 3 is also a loss. 00 is a loss. 12 is a loss. And 20 is a small loss. All right, so 2 out of 3 times here, this strategy ended up not being a good one. This one I don't think I need a calculator for. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 182, so I'm short $82. All right, so 2 out of 3 of my trials led to a not a good outcome. So what I would then do is, again, like I said, pick another strategy and play through this entire process. Well, play sounds like it's an enjoyable experience. I mean, work through this entire process, but you'll get a better understanding of what the different strategies might lead to in the short term. In the long run, they're all against you. It's just a question of, you know, you don't plan on playing this game for hours and hours and hours. Maybe you only want to do it for like half an hour. Can you get in, win some money, and get out? Or is it just not worth it to play it at all? All right. So if your calculations look like this, I mean, this is my demonstration. I can't possibly take off credit as long as the math is right. So again, pick another strategy. You need 2. Definitely not one of the ones that I used, and work through this. And then your summary is going to really just say, Julius Bergmuller, please. So we have one strategy here. So this is my strategy 1. I'm going to do it all again for a second strategy and then do my write-up comparing the 2.